talk about the Thursday night game. I wanted to spend some time talking about this. Look, I understand the Dolphins are a disaster, right? I get that. They have been for much of my life, and I understand they made the playoffs, 2 out of the last 4 years, and McDaniel deserves some credit for that. But, it's Miami. It's hard to establish a culture down there. It's Florida, South Florida, West Palm Beach, distractions, right? Here in Cincinnati, that's something Zach Taylor doesn't really have to worry about, right? As far as guys getting in trouble on a Monday through Friday basis, that's something he really has to worry about. Miami, totally different story, right? And I think you see that and why their culture has been just so bad. McDaniel is a great offensive play caller. And there's some people, some older folks, some more football traditionalist guys that are like, it's too gadgety, it's too too much flair and not enough physicality. That's fine. He's a brilliant play caller in the NFL, and if they fire him, and it looks like things are definitely heading in that direction, he will have a job next year as an offensive coordinator if he wants one. But you look at the score, and if you didn't watch the game, 28-6, Ravens blew him out. And obviously that is what happened. But the Dolphins just continued to shoot themselves in the foot with critical miscues. And if you make critical miscues in the National Football League, you're not going to be able to win games, regardless of how good you play beyond those miscues. Why were the New England Patriots so good for so long? Well, they didn't turn the ball over inside their own 20-yard line. They didn't have a penalty on 4th and 1. They didn't miss kicks inside 40 yards. And those 3 plays right there are what cost the Dolphins, in my opinion, this football game. McDaniel was dialing it up on offense. Tua, early in that game, the whole first half, they were moving the football. And this Ravens defense has been bad, but they got Kyle Hamilton back. That guy is unbelievable, by the way. I mean, what a player he is. They can line him up anywhere on that defense, and he's spectacular. He was causing them some fits in the game, but they still had no issues moving the football. McDaniel was great. Tua was throwing with anticipation, and when he does that, he's a solid quarterback in this league. We'll get to the second half in a minute. I know you guys are all gearing up to talk about the second half and how much of a disaster that was. But Dolphins' first drive, they go down. They kick a field goal. They score points. Ravens, 3 and out immediately. Lamar had Bateman there on a little 3rd and 3. And it was kind of, his first third down throw, and he just completely missed him. It took Lamar a little bit to get back in the swing of things, right? Obviously, he had missed 3 games. The Ravens had dropped 2 of those. Missed the second half, basically, of the Chiefs game as well. So that just happens, right? You needed to get more in sync there on the football game. But then the Ravens punt it there after that first drive, and Miami's backed up in their own territory, and it's a 2nd and 7 play, and it was dialed up perfectly by Mike McDaniel. Had the perfect play call deep in his own territory, and you pick up the first down, and then your guy fumbles, right? And after your defense comes up, forces a 3 and out to start the game, you're having success moving the ball on offense. McDaniel's borderline in his bag, and then all of a sudden you fumble. And you're in trouble because it's a short field. And by short field, I mean, 15 yards for Lamar Jackson. And your defense kind of hangs in there, right? And then it's 4th and goal, and they find Andrews. And then it's like, oh, my goodness, we're down 7-3. And it feels like we've completely outplayed them to this point. Turnovers deep in your own territory. Critical mistake. Absolutely can't happen. And it's like, well, the Dolphins are moving the ball fine on offense. And they continue to do it. Move it all the way down the football field. It's a 4th and 1 situation. And they play kind of, you saw, like, they snapped the football and you saw what they had there. And they were going to pick up the first down. False start on 4th and 1. Now it's 4th and 6, and now you can't go. Now you got to kick a field goal. It's a 35-yard field goal, and you missed the field goal, right? I mean, just moving the ball well offensively. McDaniel dialing it up, shooting yourself in the foot. And then Baltimore goes down and scores. You look up, and it's 14-3. You're like, my goodness, like, we're playing well, and we're getting blown out here to begin this game. H.M. was running the ball exceptional in the first half, doing a great job running the football. And the Dolphins did kind of get hosed. They had that deep shot down the sideline. 36-yard play would have been a goal-to-go situation where you go really get back into the game. What happened? It was a horrible call on Ollie Gordon. Got wiped out. They called like a personal foul on it. It was one of the worst calls I've seen this year. And, the coach lost his mind on Ollie Gordon. He's like, dude, I didn't do anything wrong. And that's just like, oh, that's not good. Right? He had a coach that's going off on his guy, and his guy didn't even do anything wrong. That's not good for the culture. That means you're kind of walking on eggshells there as a staff, right? Not good. And obviously you're not able to rebound from that. And then to end the half, you have an opportunity to go. You move the football down the field again beautifully. It's 4th down, and then Achane doesn't run the right route. Again, a fade route to the running back. Probably not the best play, but he runs the wrong route, and then it's like you end up going into the halftime, and you're down. And, it should have been a situation where Miami was leading. Like, I literally think going into half, Miami's got to be like, how the heck are we not winning this football game? And that's all about how you're going to respond. And this is what shows that the Dolphins are broken, because you just felt the morale going in to the halftime locker room is they were cooked. They were cooked. If you have a team like the Chiefs or the Eagles or the Bills or even, the Broncos or the Chargers, a solid football team, they go in the half and say, dude, we're somehow down big here in this game here at home, but we're moving the ball great. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot. If we clean those things up, we are going to be fine and come back and win this football game. The Dolphins just rolled over. They rolled over defensively. They give up a 7-minute drive to begin the half to Lamar as he started to settle in offensively, right? And then they had no fight after that. And that, in my opinion, is probably why they will move off of McDaniel here soon, or why probably they should. Because if you're in a spot like that and you just have no fight in the second half when things were going fine in the first half, you just had critical mistakes, missing a 35-yard field goal, false start on 4th and 1. Unlucky, the 36-yard penalty got wiped out for your guy not even doing anything wrong, right? The fumble inside your own 20-yard line. If you get that stuff cleaned up, you have an opportunity to get back in this game, but they kind of just rolled over. They started making more mistakes. They let Baltimore, that defense, by the way, that isn't a confident bunch based on what happened, they made them gain some confidence. They started flying around making plays, and next thing you know, Miami doesn't score a point for the remainder of that game, and they lose. So, people are going to bang on McDaniel. I get it. I thought he had them ready to play, right? Believe it or not, they just made several early critical miscues that you cannot make against a team like the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I mentioned this the other day on the show as well. I'm not shaking in my boots when I look at Baltimore, right? I mean, Lamar struggled in the first half. He was great in the second half. Didn't look like himself in the first half. Again, didn't trust the hamstring probably fully. Takes you some time to warm up. Lamar's going to be fine, and he's going to win football games for them. But that defense is still a real issue. Again, Miami had no issues moving the ball in the first half whatsoever. Teams all year have had no issues moving the ball against Baltimore. So I look at this thing, and it just kind of, as a Bengals fan, it makes the Jets loss feel a lot worse, right? 'Cause you're like, man, you beat the Jets. I mean, you are right there in this thing. Obviously, you lose. But even with the loss, you still have an opportunity here because the Pittsburgh Steelers are reeling. The Ravens, they're going to win some games and find a way around 9-10 wins probably, but they don't scare you like they did in previous years. And obviously when Nine's out there playing quarterback for you, nobody scares you. But the Ravens team compared to the Ravens teams the past 3-4 years, not even close. Not even close. Wouldn't surprise me if they found a way to come back and win this division. But this isn't the same Ravens team from the past few years. So Bengals are going to have an opportunity there. But I did want to make that point as it related to McDaniel. But when you lose the culture, you lose the locker room, your team, you got guys fighting, coaches going off on guys on the sideline for not doing anything wrong. He was clearly exasperated after the game. He was clearly exasperated before the game. And when you have that stuff going on in the National Football League, it's really hard to come back from. And honestly, it's borderline impossible to come back from. So it feels like a matter of time before they move off him. And then I have no idea what you do if you're the Miami Dolphins, because you just paid Tua. But the whole reason Tua is still there is because of McDaniel. You're probably going to get rid of McDaniel. Can't keep the GM. Greer's been there for a while. He's a complete mess. Got to get rid of him. You got to bring in a new regime. But, what are you going to do? You going to bring in another young coordinator? I mean, you just did that with McDaniel. It didn't work. You need a culture. You need some physicality. You need some toughness. Mike Tomlin, that's an interesting name. If he were to not be the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, he doesn't feel like a Miami guy whatsoever, though. And there's some people that say he might need a defensive guy to come in, but I don't know. The Dolphins have been bad for much of my life, all of my life, really. There were some spurts there in the early days with McDaniel, but it's tough. It's tough. That defense is soft. The team in general is soft. Tua, he needs a lot going his way to look good. He said some very questionable things publicly this year there as well. So they're searching for answers in South Beach and had an opportunity there. But when you make that many critical mistakes early and it just sucks all the oxygen and the energy out of your team, you're kind of in a tough spot.